But the first like Korean rapper that I actually heard about was gdragon. The first male group that I've ever like heard about was, I've heard about Big Bang, but like I said, that single Bang Bang, I heard about more groups after that. But Bang Bang was like the first single that I seen that I was like, wow. I was like, oh, that's decent. But welcome back to the React Room. I'm your boy Dom K. Back in here solo dolo again today. Today, Big Bang. I used to always hear about Big Bang. I told you I'm familiar with Taeyang, I'm familiar with gdragon. I've been hearing about gdragon all the time. I even reacted to one of gdragon stories a while back and a lot of his music. But I had only heard of gdragon, and recently I've only heard of, I think it's Taeyang. I can never pronounce the names correct, but if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. Taeyang. I seen the song with him and Jimin. Very good singer, like him a lot. Big fan of gdragon, but it's a lot of controversy surrounding Big Bang. I never knew the story about him. I watched the other story in the documentary about gdragon. It showed a little bit of it, but I don't know how the real group, I don't know, you know, it's always conflicting reports. But today I want to get into what happened to Big Bang. I don't really know what happened to him. All I knew about was gdragon, and I saw the comeback concert. I think it was at was it the MMAs or the Mamas? I saw that, and I know that it's only like two guys that I heard of now. I heard it was a scandal with one of the other ones. I don't really know what happened, and I think the other guy's like a TV actor. So I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just by what I've heard through other people. So today I'm gonna check out this video. I'll give you the credit in the original link down below. Like I said, I just want to know what happened. I think the video is called "What Happened to Big Bang." So we're gonna check that out and see the history of them. K-pop, I haven't really, I've been really into the history of K-pop, deep diving into different people. But we did a ton of artists on this channel, from BTS to Blackpink to Stray Kids. I even did a 21. I did them back. Obviously, we did gdragon and Taeyang. Who was the other ones? We did Baby Monster, Illit. I guess if you want to count XG, they did J-pop, X-pop, Twice. It's a multitude. New Jeans. I did a lot of people, bro. I did a lot of people. But like I said, getting into the history, this is probably the beginning of my era of the K-pop with the hip-hop scene or whatever that I heard of, which is gdragon, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be nice to hear a real story about what happened and someone who got a trusted voice. I'm gonna put the original link down below so you guys can check out the original video. So here we go.
What happened to Big Bang? How's it going, guys? I'm Internet's Nathan, and welcome back to my What Happened series, where I talk about K-pop groups that have kind of disappeared. Before we get this started, if you're new, please hit that subscribe button and that bell so you don't miss a thing. We're on the road to 100K before 2020. I think we can do it. So, Big Bang, the leaders of the Korean wave, the catalyst of the rise of YG into the big three, and what else can I say? The kings of K-pop. Before we talk about what happened to Big Bang, what I always like to do is look back. The beginning of Big Bang began with Taeyang and gdragon. They were trainees in YG and were actually prepared to debut as a duo called GDYB. gdragon was scouted by Sean from Jinyu Sean, an existing hip-hop duo within YG. Then he recommended gdragon to Young Han-suk, the founder and, at the time, CEO of YG Entertainment. Taeyang went on to audition to be Mini Sean in a Jinyu Sean music video, and he also had a desire to join YG as well, but it wasn't that easy. He had to beg for a chance, and when he was given a chance to audition, he nailed it and joined YG as well. Going a little bit backwards, one of gdragon's childhood friends, while gdragon left his hometown to pursue YG, was known as Tempo, but better known as T.O.P. today. And T.O.P. had a really strong passion for music. T.O.P. was a rising star in the underground hip-hop scene as a rapper. Both T.O.P. and gdragon would record a few demos, which gdragon sent to YG. Young Han-suk then asked T.O.P. to audition. When he did, he was failed for being too chubby. That didn't deter T.O.P. as he said he went home and exercised really hard because he wanted to join YG as well. He lost 44 pounds in 2 months. He auditioned for the second time and was signed to YG. A member that didn't make it into the final lineup of Big Bang and actually had an amazing career in K-pop was Hyun-sung. Hyun-sung was training with Big Bang in the pre-debut days but didn't debut with the group, and later he would leave to join Cube Entertainment, being a part of Beast and then Troublemaker with Hyuna. Daesung, the magnate of the group, simply joined YG through an audition. Seungri was next to be found through a show to find the next Shinhwa, a first-generation K-pop group who was so huge at the time. Though he was eliminated in the 9th episode, he was scouted by YG, where he auditioned and joined. What's really interesting, and I suggest you do it, is you can actually watch the formation of Big Bang in the early days through a documentary here on YouTube. I should mention that they went through some rough times in the beginning. They all lived in one apartment along with their manager, and they mentioned that they had days where they can only afford one meal a day. And some members sacrificed their meal that day to give to another member. Big Bang made their official debut at the YG Family 10th anniversary concert in 2006. Their debut track was We Belong Together with future 21 member Park Bom. At the time, nobody knew who Big Bang was, and their debut went and gone with little attention. They continued to release singles that averaged around 40,000 sales each, but their next release became a K-pop classic. Lies pulled at the heartstrings with an emotional melody and a strong storyline. Critics described Lies as through the roof. It became Big Bang's first #1, and the album sold 120,000 copies, staying at the top of the charts for 6 consecutive weeks and won Eminent Asian Music Awards Mama Artist of the Year and Digital Record of the Year.
Big Bang!
이관왕을 차지했습니다. 지금 너무 기뻐서 어쩔 줄 몰라하는 빅뱅의 모습을 볼 수 있습니다. 눈물을 흘리고 있는 멤버들도 있는 것 같고요. 자, 얼마나 기쁠까요? 남자 그룹상 수상에 이어서
Their second EP, Hot Issue, was completely composed and produced by gdragon. The results proved gdragon's talent, and the lead single of the album, Last Farewell, topped many charts including Melon, where it stayed #1 for 8 consecutive weeks, where it became the longest running #1 by a boy group, selling another 120,000 copies. As fast as they were rising, their bodies couldn't handle it, as several members were hospitalized for exhaustion, so they had to step back from promotions. But their success didn't stop, as their albums were in so high demand.
This is like a recurring theme that I see in K-pop. It's like what I notice is every group says, which is weird. Like I know that's the case for some groups, but does every group struggle and be broke? Like, was music, I'm starting to ask myself, back in these days, was music even profitable? Because this is what I don't understand. Every group I watch, there's literally probably no group I haven't watched that said that they were struggling or barely could eat and they all lived in one apartment. Now, everybody can't have the same story. And I know these were the originators, but it's like, I'm thinking to myself, like, were these companies just not, what I'm asking is, was the big three, maybe you guys tell me in the comments, was the big three companies all broke back then? And then it just took a group like this to catapult them? Because what I don't understand is, how is every group broke to start off with? I thought that the point of signing with a company was for them to take care of things. Like I'll give you an example. Like in America, yeah, some groups start off broke because they don't really have a great deal. But like, most of the time when you're with a company like Universal or Epic, or they'll take care of the amenities. You don't have to worry about food and the travel. Now, you might not have the best accommodations, but you'll have, it's like 1 meal a day, staying in an apartment with your manager. So what's the point of signing with a company if you're gonna have to just so they can record your music? I'm saying, like, is there any stories where someone didn't struggle, or someone just like, okay, well, we struggled to get attention? Because like I say, every group that I've ever reviewed, people always say that they struggled, they didn't have food, I just think that's crazy. Like, I get it because I'm from America and we do have a lot of the struggle everywhere, but I'm just saying, what's the point of signing with a company if you're still going to be hungry and you're still going to be broke? I mean, just to take the chance of them putting out your music? I don't know. I just think that's kind of crazy. But these are the earlier days when I know like the music industry was like up and coming. But I'm just saying like every K-pop group that I review, everyone has the same story. But I know these were like the kings of K-pop, so I'm not really talking about them. But I'm just saying like, man, do any of these companies like actually take care of you from the start and then you just focus on music? I don't know.
That the record company had to reprint and repackage albums for a re-release. A lot of re-re's. At the tail end of 2007, Big Bang took Japan by storm. Big Bang debuted in Japan with the album For the World, which charted really well without much promotions. To save time, Big Bang in 2008 released another album featuring numerous Korean artists. The title track Day by Day became one of the most downloaded singles in Korea with over 5 million downloads. Big Bang returned to Japan with a new single called Number One, and Big Bang received their second Artist of the Year award at Mama 2008. Coming off their biggest year yet, Big Bang slowed down on promotions, but that didn't mean they didn't feature in other groups. What am I talking about? Have you heard about Lollipop? Lollipop was a collaboration between Big Bang and YG's new girl group, 21. A song created to promote a brand deal with LG, but also 21 as they were just debuting. Something that I miss in K-pop today. You know, groups from the same company just doing stuff together. The rest of 2009 was scheduled with brand deals and a Japanese tour, and some promotional songs in support of Kim Yuna, a Korean figure skater, and the 2010 World Cup. With no full group promotions, this is when we saw GD and TOP for the first time, the first subunit of Big Bang between G-Dragon and TOP, with the album of the same name, which saw them achieve equal success as Big Bang did. 2011, after a 2-year break, Big Bang was back as one with the release of their new EP, Tonight, and before its official release, it broke records, surpassing TVXQ in the number of pre-orders at 10,000. Not one, but 4 tracks off the album top charts at the same time. That 2-year break they took did much more good than harm, as Big Bang reportedly earned $69.4 million in 2011, despite the fact that they promoted for only half the year. 2012 was the beginning of something big. Big Bang put out the Alive album, one of the best K-pop albums ever created. Some of the tracks in the Alive album are Blue, the lead single, Bad Boy, and a little song, I don't know, maybe you heard about it, called Fantastic Baby. I believe this album and Big Bang single-handedly started the first K-pop wave across the world. Fantastic Baby went crazy viral and was a huge hit. Big Bang saw themselves claim 5 spots in the top 10 on Billboard's Hot 100 and number 150 on Billboard's 200. They were officially the first Korean act ever to do this with a Korean album, getting recognized by Time magazine and the Grammy Awards. Needless to say, Big Bang made the world do a double take when it comes to K-pop as a music genre. Following the boom of Alive, Big Bang set off their first world tour, the Alive Galaxy Tour, covering 21 cities in over 13 countries. The demand was so high for tickets that they added additional shows in LA, New Jersey, and London. The final tally of the whole tour was 800,000 people. Their next release was like deja vu. Still Alive was the name of their special album, which had the title track Monster. Back-to-back triumphant albums had boosted Big Bang in global recognition, hitting 11th on Billboard's Social 50 and receiving 3 awards at the 14th Mama Awards for Best Male Group and Artist of the Year. The other award was given to G-Dragon for Best Male Solo for his artistic Coup d'etat album. If you haven't, give that a listen, man. G-Dragons. Now, let me mention that all the other members also had solo songs, aside from G-Dragon. Taeyang, over the course of Big Bang's career, had Wedding Dress, Ringa-Linga. T.O.P. had Doom Da Da Dip Da. Doom Da Da Da. 2 dots, 3 dots. You know what I'm talking about. This song actually had pretty successful solos in Japan as a solo artist. Delight and Seungri as, well, you know, he was there too. Then in 2015, there was a sudden drop. Big Bang was on hiatus for 2 years again, with G-Dragon expressing his lack of motivation to write new music. But many sleepless nights later, Big Bang made their long-awaited return with the ambitious Made album. Breaking up the album into special singles, M, A, D, and E. M had 2 songs, Loser and Baby. This was the start of the domination. Both songs occupied the number 1 and number 2 spot in Billboard's World Digital Songs, Loser being number 1. Funny enough, Loser won Song of the Year awards while Baby did the same. The next month was time for A. This had We Like to Party and the modern day Fantastic Baby on steroids, Bang Bang Bang.
Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang.
I don't even need to mention how powerful Bang 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 is still today, man. Come on. Bang 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 earned Song of the Year at Mama 2015 and was the best performing single of 2015 in South Korea. Next month was D. Out came the songs If You and Sober. A little bit more emotional and ballady, but not doing as well as the rest, only taking that number 2 spot in world digital charts. And finally, E. E was special as we saw the return of GD and T.O.P. with Chutta and the song Let's Not Fall in Love. To emphasize the release of their new album, Big Bang went on their second world tour, and this tour was the biggest tour K-pop has ever imagined, performing for a total of 1.5 million fans across the world and stands as the single largest tour by any Korean act ever. The official release of the complete album was postponed to add even more songs, including Fuck It and Last Dance. And then Big Bang celebrated a monumental milestone. On August 19, 2016, Big Bang had their 10th anniversary, something many K-pop groups never get to see. As 2016 drew to a close, so did Big Bang as a whole group. February 2017 is when T.O.P. enlisted for his mandatory military service. And in 2018, Big Bang had one more song to bid a farewell to VIP, aka Big Bang's fans, with Flower Road. We would see Big Bang members follow T.O.P. into the military one at a time, with gdragon, Taeyang, Taesung, and Seungri soon to follow. But success always comes with trouble, as during military service, T.O.P. was brought out to face marijuana use allegations, which he admitted was true. While dealing with the legal battle, T.O.P. was found one night in his home unresponsive. He was rushed to the hospital, where it was deemed T.O.P. took much and overdosed on a sleep aid and was put into intensive care as he didn't wake up. People began to imagine the worst, but T.O.P. would come out and make a full recovery. Returning back into the military to serve the rest of his time, the marijuana case was suspended so he can serve his mandatory military service, in which he will face the sentence then. And of course, the most recent event, Seungri and the Burning Sun. Well, to make a long story short, where there was a dispute at a club called Burning Sun, and the police started investigating the club and found evidence of prostitution. The club has ties to Seungri and YG Entertainment, and it was then reported Seungri would provide prostitution services to investors and businessmen who would work with him. Once this news broke, the media got a hold of Kakao Talk conversations was found between Seungri and other notable Korean celebrities from Jung Joo-young, Choi Jong-hoon, and others. Upon the controversy, Seungri announced his retirement from all entertainment. His mandatory military service has been postponed, and this case continues to unfold. And now today, all Big Bang members are in the military serving their time, not to be discharged until later this month, actually. The first to come out would be T.O.P., but again, he would have to face that suspended sentence of marijuana use. And I can imagine that once all the members come out, except for Seungri, that they wouldn't have a comeback for a while, that they would go on hiatus again and maybe probably come back as Big Bang once again. So Big Bang had a roller coaster of a career, 10 plus years in K-pop, being dubbed the kings of K-pop. Many groups don't get that name. They've had their ups and they've had their downs. But
that's crazy. First, I remember how big Bang 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 was. Like that, yeah, that was in 2015, like 2016, around there. Like that was the first time because like I said, I heard of G-Dragon before, but I never really heard of the group Big Bang. But when I heard that Bang Bang Bang, that was like, yeah, that was around 2015, 2016. Yeah, like that's the first time I ever heard a K-pop song. I was like, man, that was actually decent. That was pretty good. Because again, we don't really get much of that back over there. But that Bang 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 took the world by storm. But it's crazy to think that G-Dragon was writing all of these songs, producing all of these songs, and doing his solo stuff. And like I said, all this stuff was going on. And man, it's just crazy how a couple of bad decisions can destroy a lifetime of work. One club and I'm pretty sure I've heard stuff about the club. Some people said it was underage stuff. Some people said it was prostitute. I don't really, like I said, I'm not a gossip channel. I don't really get into that. But regardless of whatever it was, if it was, again, obviously he was convicted of it, and he retired. So it's like, bro, you just messed up your legacy, man. Like, because it's crazy, man. People would love to see you on a because I think recently, now gdragon and Taeyang did they comeback concert in one of the award shows. It would have been nice to see all of them there, but it's just crazy, man. Like, a couple bad decisions can be a lifetime of judgment, man. And it's crazy that people risk that for temporary success, man. Like, you just got to think about the future sometimes. Not to say that I feel bad for him, because if the crimes, you know, where he committed against were like what people were saying they was, it's crazy. But I know Korean culture is different than American culture. Like I don't know the details, and I don't really want to know the details. Like I said, I'm not like, but if what the rumors were true, and it was a bunch of different stuff beyond just prostitution, it was crazy, then I get it. I get the crime fit the punishment. But then you got the suspended marijuana sentence. I get it, around the world, marijuana's cool, but it's like, you know where you at, you know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, man. I just felt like when you legendary like this, and you know that your base is in Korea, you have to be smart, man. But, you know, it is what it is.
See Big Bang prosper from the days of not being able to eat while training and going to school, working hard to the point of their bodies giving out from exhaustion, all that determination and hard work putting them up on a pedestal for other groups to look up to. Starting that first K-pop Korean Hallyu wave in the world. When I say trailblazers in K-pop, I mean they scorched the earth. Big Bang is Big Bang.
Yeah, man, so that's the story of what happened to Big Bang. I'm sure it's more, because I see this video was made 6 years ago, but I'm sure it's updated to more intensified. But like I said, I think that was good for me. That's the base of what I need to know. I don't need to know the super inside details of what happened, but man, that's just crazy. Big Bang was the first, I'm not gonna lie, the first K-pop group I ever heard of was, as a group, I think it might have been 21. I heard something about 21. It might have been 2010 or 2011. I think it might have been 2011. I heard about 21. It was one of them years when I was in college. But the first like Korean rapper that I actually heard about was gdragon. The first male group that I've ever like heard about was, I've heard about Big Bang. But like I said, that single Bang Bang, I heard about more groups after that, but Bang Bang was like the first single that I seen that I was like, wow. I was like, oh, that's decent. But yeah, man, it's crazy, man. 2000, it seemed like just yesterday all of this stuff happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the craziest part about all of this is to see how far people have come from living in an apartment with their managers, to eating food once a day, to training all day, to becoming legends. It's crazy. Now, it's sad that some people don't get to enjoy the fruits of that, or walking around and getting the love that they show. But hey, it is what it is, man. We all gotta live with our decisions that we make. But man, just to tell you like the overall, just like K-pop has grown so much, and guys like this have paved the way for everybody else. They paved the way for all of the groups before them. Like, again, you got the BTSs of the world, the Blackpinks of the world, the Stray Kids. They're able to go around the world and do things because like groups like them in 21 and I forgot the other girl group, they put them on the map. They put the world on notice, like we got talent here. And yeah, they are the kings of K-pop. They are legends, you know what I'm saying? That's not to say that they're the best group of all time, but they definitely like the king of starting all of this and getting out there, you know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy that, you know, you gotta honor the people that came before you. It's no different than like sports, you know? No matter how great you think LeBron and Kobe are, Mike came before them. Mike paved the way, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure Michael Jordan feels the same way about Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and all of the greats before them, you know what I'm saying? Like, they paved the way. So, I mean, overall, Big Bang is a great story, but it's also a sad story. And it's also a warning for the K-pop groups now. It's also yo, just use them as an example. So you got the BTSs of the world, like I said, the Blackpinks, the Stray Kids, the EXOs, the Twices, the Red Velvets, the Baby Monsters. Like, I hope they just look at these situations that the first groups did and be like, yo, we gotta avoid trouble at all costs. You know what I'm saying? Because Korea seemed like a really, really serious place to where the media is always looking to, they can't wait to shine a light on bad. It's just like the States. I'm starting to see Korean media is just like the States. They can't wait for something to happen so they could jump all over it and put you all over everything without even all of the truth coming out. They ready to throw a narrative out there because that's just what they are. The media's ready. Not blaming the media, but I'm just saying, like, that's a part of the world we live in 2025. Everybody wants clicks and likes. Even if the story is not all the way corroborated or true, they're ready to throw it out there. They're ready to get that information. They're ready for rumors to start. And they don't really care. And that wasn't rumors. That was actually true stuff. But I'm just saying, if anything happens in 2025, you're going to be all over Instagram, all over X or Twitter, all over Facebook, all over social media, everywhere. And you just got to be careful. You got to be careful about who you talk to. You got to be careful about the things you do or the things you do in private. Because, like, these artists are businesses. This is business now. Like, it's not just music. It's brand deals with Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Prada and Fendi and McDonald's and all this other stuff. And these labels don't want to lose their money. That's why they have such strict regulations on what the artists can do, can't do, who they hang with, because they don't want the backlash. They're trying to make money, you know, and you got to be aware of that, because when you want to be at this level, you're no longer an artist. You're a business. You're an entity. You're a brand. You got to protect that at all times. So with that being said, shout out to Big Bang, shout out to gdragon and the rest of the crew. Legends in the game. I see what happened. It's beautiful and sad at the same time, but we have to honor those who came before us. So again, shout out to them. And again, let this be a lesson to the future groups out there. Just be careful of what you do, because it's a lot of situations in America I could bring light to a lot of people who had downfalls from grace because of a few bad decisions, and you know, they'll never recover. So with that being said, that's my opinion. I'm out of here. And again, shout out to Big Bang. So you guys tell me in the comments, what do you think about Big Bang, the originators of K-pop global? What do you think about that? Do you like gdragon? Do you like Big Bang? How do you feel about the downfall of the group? And how do you feel about making bad decisions and it affecting your legacy overall? And also, what do you think about just the future groups? Did these guys pave the way, or was it groups before them who paved it? Obviously, it's always going to be a group in front of you, but I think that these guys were the first group to like put them on like the national scene. I mean, well, not the national scene, the world scene, as far as male K-pop groups. Because like, I never really heard of K-pop until them. Like, you know what I'm saying? They were like the first ones that I was like, okay. But again, maybe it was somebody else. You guys tell me in the comments what you think. Give me your opinions on this. And should I review Big Bang music or not? You let me know. And if I are, put the videos down below I should review. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Always with love. Peace.